specific set of skills and a mindset. Okay. Anything that is worthwhile, it requires a certain level of a mindset and a skill set, and it's all up here. Okay. I'm not saying you have to be mathematically brilliant. You don't have to be scientifically unapproachable. You don't have to be linguistically gifted. You don't have to be a great orator. You don't have to be physically in shape. You don't have to be a man or a woman, young or old. You can absolutely implement these skills at any stage of your development, provided that you are disciplined and you're committed. And what is required is faith, belief, vision, and in no particular order. Faith, belief, and vision. Let's start with belief. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can change the direction of your life? Do you believe that you can write a new chapter? Do you believe that you can recreate, reinvent yourself? Do you believe, in spite of your current circumstances, in spite of your current situation, in spite of the battles that you may have been fighting for months or even years, do you believe that you can change? And that belief, you can source it, because I am willing to go out on a limb, because I wasn't there. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say all of you have had moments in your life where you did something that you thought you couldn't do, where you surprised yourself, where you obtained a position, you secured a promotion, you completed a workout, you ran a mile and you'd never run one before. All of you, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that you've had that experience. And what preceded the experience was the conversation up here: I can do it. Or I'm going to put one foot in front of the other until I do it. Or I don't know if I can do this, but I'm willing to put it all out there. I'm willing to give myself a shot. And when you got on the other side of it, there was a sense of accomplishment. There was a sense of pride. There was a sense of, okay, like I did that. What else can I do? And maybe you had this when you were in kindergarten. Maybe you got a compliment from a teacher when you were in third grade. Maybe you surprised one of your best friends in high school. Maybe you surprised yourself at the tryouts for one of the athletic things that you were going after. Maybe you surprised yourself in getting a grade that you never thought you'd be able to get. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something that gave you the proof, empirical data that I believed and then I achieved. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So you had the actual data from your life. And that is an example in real time that no one can ever take away from you. Achievement is something that you build. And you build achievement on top of achievement. And in between those achievements, if you're doing it correctly, will be many failures, will be many shortcomings, will be many times when you've fallen completely on your face. I remember the very first time I was on stage. Now, you got to understand something. Anyone that has ever seen me on a stage in the last 15 years, I promise you, I hear this all the time. Anyone that's seen me on stage, you have an anointing. Oh man, that's where you belong. Oh, you're gifted. And I'm in my head, I'm like, do you understand the very first time I was on stage? I got up on stage. I swear to you, I'll never forget this. I had rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. And I got up on stage and I looked out for the first time ever and I saw a bunch of people in the audience. And what to me looked like thousands, it might have been maybe 100. And I completely froze. I froze. My brain leapt out of my head. Have you ever seen like I don't know if it's a caterpillar or whatever, when they leave, but the shell is still there, like the shape, and it's like, but it's hollow. That was me. I was like this, Like everything else just left my body. Soul, heart, spirit, that was all gone. I was just standing there like this. I will never forget that. And that moment gave me an opportunity to say, okay, I gotta get back on stage. It's like I gotta go back. Like I gotta figure this out because I'm not. And that's something that I'm grateful that I had that in me. Like I'm gonna figure it out. I wasn't gonna let it defeat me. I wasn't gonna let it define the rest of my life. I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. But we've all had these moments of revelation and education based on our life experience. So now you have that belief, okay? So what you want to do when you look at your business, when you look at the income and the cash flow that you want to generate for yourself, find some moments in your life where you can say, "Oh yeah, like I've been here before. I've been confronted with something where I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I did it anyway. I've taken on a new assignment and I had no experience in that new assignment, but I figured it out. I learned it and then I got really, 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 really good at it. Oh yeah, I wanted to go after this promotion. Oh yeah, I wanted to give myself a pay raise. Oh yeah, I wanted to step up in my fitness. Oh yeah, I decided I was going to start eating better and I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know if I had the discipline to do it, but I said I'm going to give myself a shot and I did it. So if I did it then, I can do it now. It's the same thing, just a different situation. So now you're focusing on your cash flow. And you cultivate that belief by what you surround yourself with. Are you surrounding yourself with thinking that is outthinking you? Are you surrounding yourself with people that have a higher standard? There are some people that think it's a big deal to live in $1 million home because they've never lived in $1 million home. They think it's a big deal. Did you all know that there's over 20 million $1 million homes? I'm going to say it again because some of y'all missed it. There are over 20 million $1 million homes. It's not a big deal. It's only a big deal to you because you surrounded yourself with people who think it's a big deal. It's your mind. It's the framing of your mind and how you think. You see, if I took any one of you right now, and let's say I take whatever the last job you had was, okay? I don't know what it was, but think about the very last job that you had. And I want you to think about the income that you make on an annual basis, all right? Now, let's say for the sake of argument so the average income right now is between $57,000 to $62,000 a year, all right? So let's just call it 60 grand. Let's just say for the sake of this conversation, the last job you had, you were making $60,000 a year. And I said to you, that job is now going to pay you $6,000 a year. It's going to pay you $6,000 a year. There's not one person that's listening to this that would say they're okay with that. As a matter of fact, some of you all would have a syllogism. You'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way I'm taking that. Have you lost your mind? Ed, I know enough about my worth and my value that you're not going to reduce my income 10x. You're going to reduce my income by 10 times? Are you crazy? There's no freaking way. You all would flip the freak out. Why? Because you know your worth and your value, and you wouldn't accept that. So why are you accepting what you have now? It's just your mindset. You have to make a decision. Where I'm at is intolerable because where I'm going is non-negotiable. And if you change the thermostat, you're in control of it. You start to elevate because your expectation is higher. Your standard is now higher. I'm not relenting. I am not looking left or right until, this is the operative word, until I'm earning a minimum of what my new standard is. New. I have to renew my mind. Be ye not conformed to the ways of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm raising my standard. And so instead of 60,000 being my baseline, it's going to be 120,000. I'm not accepting anything less than $120,000 a year because I know I'm worth that at a minimum. That's a mindset, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you tolerate, and what you tolerate won't change. What you tolerate won't change. You have to raise the bar. You have to raise the standard. It was Howard Thurman who said, if you allow someone or something to control the thermostat of your soul, they will always regulate the temperature. You have now given all your power away because you have resigned yourself to whatever the paycheck is, and you are now what we call a paycheck player because somebody else is determining your worth and your value in this world, in this marketplace. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not how you're going to increase your cash flow. It doesn't work that way. You have to dictate what the thermostat is, and you determine the standard. And then your actions are in alignment with the thermostat, with the standard, until the cash flow is catching up to that. But it starts with your belief. Starts with your belief. You don't get straight A's in school and then say I'm a straight A student. No, you say I'm a straight A student before I manifest the straight A results. You don't win a championship and then say I'm a champion. You say, no, I'm a champion before the championship. You've earned it because you have a mindset in terms of how you prepare, in terms of the work ethic that you put in, because you're going to outwork everybody. You're going to out routine everybody, out work ethic everybody until the championship arrives. All that happens long before the actual event itself. You want to increase your cash flow? Show me your daily method of operation. Show me your daily income producing activities, day after day, week after week, month after month. Show me. Show me. Let's talk about it. Let's look at it over the last 30 days. I will sit down with any one of you and we can look and measure the last 30 days of activity. I'll show you my phone calls. You show me yours. I'll show you my prospecting. You show me yours. I'll show you my conversions. You show me yours. And we'll see who's going to be where in 36 months. We'll see. We'll look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Cash flow is not going to lie. You can't hide from that. Can't hide from it. Now, if I get wrapped up, if you get wrapped up in where we're at right now, this moment, that your current circumstances are not your conclusion. Your vision must always be bigger than your current circumstances. And if you try to define your capacity based on where you're at right now, you've already lost. It's game over. That means if somebody comes along and says something you don't like, if somebody comes along and tells you something that doesn't make you feel good, you're going to be more likely to quit. You're going to be more likely to shrink because you're defining your future based on this moment right now. I will be doggone if one or two people would ever rob me and my family of my dream and my vision for my family. There's no freaking way. I would never allow someone outside of my home to dictate my thermostat, to dictate my temperature, ever. What would I look like going to Nadia and Blake and Azaria and saying, hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to put forth any more effort because a couple people told me no. So I'm going to give all of our family's future away to two people that said no. Like, what? What? What are you talking about? But it starts with your belief. So you cultivate and you deepen and you harness your belief by ensuring that you're surrounding yourself with individuals that have a higher standard. Now, you may not have a next door neighbor that aspires to be incredibly successful cash flow wise. You may not have anyone in your work situation that aspires for more than being a paycheck player, but you do have the internet, you do have YouTube, you have an endless supply of individuals that are proven, that have the receipts that you can just listen to at will, and they can remind you of what you're capable of if you're willing to do the work and the things that we're talking about today. This is how you cultivate belief. It's what you're reading. It's the audios that you're listening to, the videos that you're watching, the conversations that you're having, and the conversations that you will not allow. There are conversations that you cannot allow. There's company that you should not be keeping. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who do you spend your leisure time with? Are they people that challenge you to elevate, or are they people that are just comfortable? That are just looking for what most people are looking for, which is, happy hour and fast food and, give me some escape instead of let me find a new way to elevate. Let me find a new way to rise up. Let me find a new way to find out who I am and what I'm made of. That's the power of association. Books you read, audios you listen to, conversations you have and that you won't accept, and the people that you spend your time with. That's how you cultivate belief, and that is all 100% in your power, in your control. Faith, the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things not seen. Faith is a requirement. Why is faith so important? Because you can't put your hands on it. You can't quantify it. Faith shows up in how you show up. Do you show up with a great attitude when everything sucks? Can you show up with a great attitude day after day, week after week, month after month, and things are not moving the way you want them to? Things are not moving as fast as you want them to. There's your time. And then in my experience, there's God's time. And very often my time and God's time are very rarely aligned because I want it yesterday. And God's like, yo, bro, you ain't ready yet. Like, you got more work to do. You ain't ready yet. I don't know how bad you really want this, E. I know you talk a big game. I know you share your vision, but how bad do you really want it? I'm going to keep testing you because I don't know. You might be a punk. You might be full of ish. You might be just talking a good game. You might be resting on your past success. Let me find out what you're really made of. Let me see if you can show up with the same level of enthusiasm and passion today as you did 5 years ago, as you did 10 years ago. Can you show up for the next 160 days in a row and not waver regardless of what is taking place in your life? Can you show up then? I want to know, are you truly a faithful servant, or are you just talking when it's convenient? It's easy to set your goals when you're on the couch. It's easy to talk about your dreams when you have a nice warm cup of coffee and you're nice and cuddly at your home. It's easy when you ain't have to go through pain and trial and tribulation yet. I want to know, how bad do you really want it? That's what faith is. Faith is the great separator. And again, it has nothing to do with your resume, has nothing to do with your age, has nothing to do with your sex, has nothing to do with your height or your charm or your looks. It has everything to do with what's in here and what's in here. You have complete dominion over that. It's easy to talk about it, but can you be about it day in and day out? Can you show up with a great attitude day in and day out? Can you live as if the job is already done? Can you embrace fully as if the cash flow is already flowing? Can you move in spite of what your current circumstances are telling you? In spite of someone telling you no, in spite of someone telling you they don't want to do business with you, in spite of somebody saying you're not going to win at this, in spite of your own inner conversation. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. But the greatest enemy is the inner me. The inner me will mess you up. Your mind will mess you up if you let it. Because if you're not in control of your mind and your mind is in control of you, you're done. It's a wrap. Because your mind knows all of the weak spots. It knows how to exploit your insecurities. It knows how to manipulate your weakness against you. It knows how to help you craft a very well planned out excuse, a well planned alibi to make sure that you're not successful, to make sure that you stay stuck on stupid, to make sure that you don't increase your self-worth and your self-esteem and your self-image. That's the mind's job. Therefore, you have to be in control of your mind instead of your mind being in control of you. I don't listen to my mind. I tell my mind what to do. Just because you have a thought that enters your head does not mean you have to entertain it. How many times have you been convicted by a toilet bowl flush thought? How many times have you been captivated by negative, toxic thinking? How many times have you allowed yourself to go down that path of darkness, to marinate in your misery, to get stuck in your past, to allow yourself to be robbed of your future? You know what I learned? I learned that I can change my past. It's one of the most powerful tools. I learned how to change my past. I've learned how to take a painful event that happened in my past and reframe it for my own empowerment. I've learned how to take a tragic event from my past and use it for good so that I can be a better version of myself, not to be held prisoner by my past, but to be set free. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the power that we all have. That's the power of faith. And you get to exercise your faith each and every day. And then vision. Do you have a clear and concise mental picture for who it is that you're going to be? Who do you want to become? Most people don't become much because they don't have any idea of who they want to become. They're just going along to get along. They're allowing the world and outside influences to dictate their identity, which is why they don't amount to much, because the world doesn't think much of them in the first place. You have to be the arbiter of your own self-creation. You have to make that decision. How do you do it? Well, you're not a tree. You get to create yourself as you see fit. You want to be a badass, you could be a badass. You want to be a super business person, you could be a super business person. You want to be an awesome leader, you could be an awesome leader. You can be whoever you want to be. It's powerful, right? Creation. We get to do that. We have the power of creation. Do you have a clear, concise mental picture? Have you ever created a vision board and put yourself at the center of it? I'm thinking of a vision board that Nadia created, and it had Entrepreneur of the Year, and she put her picture in the center of this vision board, and then around it, she had all these other images. She had fitness on there. She had, I can't remember exactly what it was, but leadership, and there were all these things that were around it, but it was her face. And every time she looked at that, she got confirmation of where she was going, because she took the time to sit down and create who she wanted to be, because she has total autonomy over that. What if you had a vision board for the history that you want to make? What if you had a vision board for your health and fitness? What if you had a vision board for the contributions you were going to make? And then you could look at these things and they're just, you just see them every day. What if you had that as a reminder of where you're going? Why do we get so enamored with certain people? Because there are monuments that are built to them. There are statues with their name on it. You can walk into museums and see elements of individuals that have left their mark on this planet. Well, those are images that were created. Well, you can do the same thing. Create your own image. I am one of the greatest contributors that this world has ever seen. And you can have that on your vision board. But that's vision, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you're not taking the time to cultivate and specify your vision of who you want to be, you're going to be living off of somebody else's. That's why they call it television, telling you your vision. You're watching somebody else's vision. You're living vicariously through other people all the time. You're sucking up airtime on your screens and scrolling and looking at everybody else, tying into their vision instead of cultivating your own. That's your fault. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Put your phone down, because it is a disease. It is destructive. Put your freaking phone down and go write about you. Go create your own life. Go impact somebody else with your life and your story. And build your vision. Stop sucking in and falling into somebody else's. Because usually whatever it is that you're watching is not that special anyway. It's completely outside of the realm of your reality. I find your story, I find what you share far more interesting and compelling than anything I'm going to consume in the social media dynamic. I find you way more fascinating than anything I'm going to watch on TV. I do, because you're right here and you've come through some stuff. You've overcome some things. You've created some skills and you've impacted lives in real time and you're doing it right now. That's way more interesting to me than anything I'm going to watch on TV. Give yourself more credit. Cultivate your vision. Keep expanding and sharpening it and making it more vibrant with colors and sound and sights and smells. But if you have those three things, ladies and gentlemen, you got something. And now the work. If you just put work to those three things, it's game over. It's game over. If you put the work in, I'm telling you, man, there's not a whole lot that you're not going to be able to fulfill when it comes to increasing your cash flow. The reason I was playing that song, Wait Till I Get My Money Right, because when your money's right, it doesn't mean that you don't have problems. It just means that they're much more. I'm choosing my words carefully. It's just better to go through your problems when you got cash flow than when you don't. Like literally, the state change is real. There's nothing greater than changing somebody's state. I was driving from Cleveland to New York, and I was coming back from visiting my mom because I was living in New York at the time, and I had this ritual. Now, again, don't judge me, but I had this ritual. When I'm taking a road trip, I would stop at the Wendy's and get me a Frosty because they had like a strawberry Frosty at the time. And I knew the Frosty I knew it wasn't good, but this is my little vice. So I would pull over and I get me a Frosty. So I go in Wendy's and I'm getting this Frosty, and there's a woman behind the counter and she's probably in her, late 60s. And I can tell by the way she's moving that she's very uncomfortable. And she's not, there's something going on. I said, hey, man, ma'am, are you okay? And she said, no. She said, my back's been really bothering me and I can't, they're not going to give me a break. Like I have to work, I'm working these long shifts and I've been in a lot of pain. I was like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. And I'm at Wendy's, okay? Ain't nobody tips at fast food. So I took out a bill and I folded it so she couldn't see what it was. And I just, I put it in her hand. You put the money there and you slide it like that. And I said, listen, this is for you because I really appreciate you, being here. And I know you don't want to be here. I know you're uncomfortable and I hope you feel better. And so I turn and I walk and I got my little Frosty. I'm all excited with my Frosty. And as I'm coming out the door, she screams, oh my God. And I love that sound. I didn't look back because I didn't need the credit. I just loved the sound because I knew what I put in her hand was going to change her state. That's all I wanted to do was change her state. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason that we make money and make more money is because we want to bless more people. See, the more money you make, the more you are who you are. Like that's all that it is. That's the whole ball game. So if you know, which I know that you're a giving person, which you are, and you want to bless people, which I know you do, that's one of the reasons you want to make a ton of money. So you can bless more people. It's a very selfish endeavor. I want you to be selfish. It's okay. I'm selfish because I love the way it feels when I can bless somebody unexpectedly. I love going up to the bus stop and just blessing somebody randomly. And because I know they're not expecting it. If you're at the bus stop, you ain't expecting nobody to walk up to you and just bless you. So that's why we want to get our money right. Now, I'm going to give you 4 things that will ensure that you have the right position to increase your cash flow. Okay? 4 things. Number 1, personal development. You got to work on yourself constantly. And this is daily personal development. Why do I do the morning motivations? Because motivation is a lot like taking a bath, right? You got to do it every day. Because if you don't, eventually you're going to start funking up the air. And because most people have stinking thinking, my mind is you need motivation every day. I'm not saying that motivation is all that you need. It's a component because you need strategy, you need process, you need daily method of operation, you need income producing activities, and you have to do these things consistently, day in and day out, week after week, month after month, year after year. You cannot just do it because it feels good and you've decided I'm going to change my life. I'm going to really get after it, Ed. No, I'm going, this time I'm going to do it. And you do it for like 5 days and then you quit. And then you have to re-up all over again. This is what most people do. They start, they stop, they start, they stop, they start, they stop, they start, they stop. Because they haven't changed their identity. But if you do it consistently, then guess what? That's where the daily personal development comes in to support that, to endorse that, to increase that. So that's number one. And you have 100% control over your daily personal development. Everybody here has plenty of time. There's 168 hours in a week. Don't tell me you cannot allocate at least 30 minutes a day to reading, to writing in a journal, to listening to something that's empowering. There's no way you can't find 30 minutes a day. Nobody here is working 130 hours a week. No one. No one. So with 168 hour a week, you can do daily personal development. Number two, got to have the right vehicle. The right vehicle to increase your cash flow. It's not your job, by the way. We already established that. It's not your job. You cannot go to your employer and tell them you want to double or triple your income in the next 12 months. They will laugh you out of the situation that you're in. They're like, the compensation doesn't work that way. You're lucky if you get a performance bonus. You're lucky if you get a 3% cost of living increase wage. You're lucky if you get those things. You're not going to double or triple or more your income in your job. Unless you're in sales and it's 100% commission, that's different. But outside of that, it's not happening. So what's the vehicle that you're in? Number one, is it virtual? Is it virtual? Meaning, can you conduct business like we are having this conversation online? I'm at home. You're at home. We can conduct business. Are there any time constraints? When you have a job, you have to get in your car, you got to drive to there, and you're there for whatever, 8 hours, 10 hours, and you got to drive back home. That means there's an hourly rate. That means there's limitations to your job because your job's not open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's your business. Can you conduct it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Yes, you can. 100%. I have done business at 3 o'clock in the morning because for somebody else it's midnight on the West Coast. I have actually gotten people to see information at 3 o'clock in the morning because I happen to be up and I want to do some business. When you have no time constraints and it's virtual and you have a viable business, i.e. exceptional products that are backed by a 90-day empty bottle money back guarantee, and you're using them yourself every day and you can tell your story every day, you got something. 3, got to have coaching and mentorship. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? See, when you have access to individuals that have already walked down the road that you're on and you're seeing them each and every month, if it's the leadership magazine that we've talked about over and over again, if it's the stories on the best series, if it's the leader cast that we have access to, at any point in time, any of you can go in and you can pull up the leader cast, you can pull up the best series, you can watch, open up your leadership magazine, okay? You can read and listen and watch stories of people just like you who have gotten started in the last 12, 24, 36 months, and they're earning at least 5 figures or higher every month. And that's what? Who are you surrounding yourself with? That's your virtual coaching mentorship access right there. And you can actually build and cultivate relationship with some of those people. Everybody here is within a phone call of someone who's earning at least $20,000 or more every single month. Everybody here that's listening to my voice. So you have direct access to coaching and mentoring. You got to make sure that you're careful who you're listening to. All right? That's number 3. Number 4, process systems, right? What's your daily method of operation? What's your income producing activity? If you're willing to do the work consistently and you have a process and a system where you show up every day, you make the phone calls, you do the invitations, you take people on tours, you show them the information, you invite them to strategy Zooms, you do all these things, it's game over. It's game over if you're consistent. But these are the foundational tools that we must implement. And the beauty of it is that every single person here has access to the same tools, same data. When Jennifer shares about being at the event today, she's going to tell you about being in a room full of people who breathe the same air that she does, and they put their pants on one leg at a time, like she does, and some of them are excelling. And she's going to talk about the ones who are excelling, not the ones who are not, because it's easy not to be successful. It's easy to be broke. It's easy to not do the work. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to marinate in your misery. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to whine and moan and complain. She ain't gonna talk about none of them because none of those stories are worth repeating. None of those people are worth putting energy and attention to. Nobody wants to follow that. Are you living your life in such a way that somebody would want to follow you? Somebody would want to embody you, implement what you're doing, copy you. Not you in terms of your personality, but you in terms of your character. And Jennifer's going to tell us stories about people that are just like you. Single parents, married, kids, no kids, jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, running their own business separate from our business. And they're going to share their story of how they're having success. They're going to share their story of how they've gotten their repeat income up to $19,000 a month. They're going to share their story of how their last bonus check was almost $80,000. They're going to share their stories of how they utilized systems, processes, daily method of operation, income producing activities to get the results. And now you have the opportunity. If you want to get to $1 million a year, you can. If $1 million a year is not your goal and it's $500,000 a year, great. If it's $300,000 a year, great. If it's $250,000 a year, great. But you have the opportunity and the vehicle and the facility to do just that. So I appreciate you all hanging out this morning. I do want to take some time right now to open it up because I want to hear from you about